What is happening, guys? It's Neo here, bringing you a fantastic Photoshop tutorial. So in this tutorial we'll be looking at a variety of Photoshop tools and features to enhance your images or photos. So what we're going to do is, I've got an image of myself when I was on holiday, and I thought this was a pretty good picture to use because we can do a lot with it. So what we're first going to look at is the teeth whitening technique. Now, this is a great way to enhance photos, and it kind of brings out natural beauty and everything. Obviously, I'm not that beautiful, so it won't really do much for me, but we'll have a look anyway. So I'm just going to zoom in and concentrate on the teeth area. Now, as you can see, my teeth are pretty white anyway, but we're going to give it sort of like the Photoshop treatment. So what you want to do is head to the sponge tool, ensure this is checked, and alter your brush size using the square bracket buttons on your keyboard, just so that the are about the size of the tooth. And then all you want to do is just click away and sponge out the colour on the teeth, so that you get like a sort of grey on the tooth. Right, so once you've done this and you're happy with it, head over to the sponge tool again, click it, and then choose the dodge tool. Now what this will do is lighten anything that you click on. So all we're going to do is again get the brush the size of a tooth and just gently click on places around the teeth area, sort of brighten them up a bit. Now if you do for whatever reason overdo something, so for instance if you wanted to dull down the teeth a bit because they're a bit too white and they look fake, if you go to the burn tool, this does the exact opposite of what the dodge tool does, and sort of gets rid of the brightness of them. So if we zoom out, we can see that those teeth look a little better. So we're going to just keep whitening them so that they stand out and give me a really nice smile. Okay, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? Right, so the second part of this tutorial is, when I had this photo taken, I had a bit of weight on me, which I've lost now, thankfully. So we're going to try and get rid of this sort of excess fat around the chin area. So the best way to do that is to use the filter tool and liquify. So if we head down to the liquify option, a box appears and you get a little paintbrush thing again, which you can increase or decrease in size using the square brackets. Now what this does is it manipulates the image in a way that you can sort of reshape it as you please. So we're going to zoom in on the chin area, and we're just going to get this thing, the brush at the top, the thingy tool, and what we're going to do is just click and hold and then gently push up the chin. Just to get the jawline a bit right, and we can also bring this down a little bit. And if you really want to go into it, you can do this and bring the bottom part up so it takes away. As you can see, the double chin is now disappearing. So we're going to give myself a more chiseled look. Right, so that looks relatively okay. Just need to neaten this bit up a little bit. And then once you're happy, click OK. However, there's another tool in here that we can use called the pucker tool and the bloat tool. So what these two do is, if you click and hold, it sucks the image in. So again, you can use this to sort of get rid of any unwanted pieces of fat on the skin, and just to make things look a bit neater. It's kind of more effective doing it this way than it is with the actual liquify tool itself. So as you can see, it's like giving yourself liposuction. So again, now we can just gradually move this up a little bit. And the bloat tool does exact opposite, so that will make things bigger. So for instance, if we was to do my ears, make my ears are slightly bigger, click OK, and there we go. It's took away half the double chin. Now we're not done yet. I mean, I'm not going to do this so that it's perfect, just so that I can show you guys. But if you really wanted to sort of neaten it up, go to the patch tool, hold Alt in to select an area that you want to use. If you click it, you get a piece of that part, and what it does then is patch over and merge any of the pixels around it in that sort of colour and swatch. So as you can see, you can sort of get rid of that double chin look by going over the sort of line on the image. We zoom in and just make it a little bit neater. Right, so we zoom out, and I no longer have a double chin. Now we'll probably need to liquify this a little bit more, just so it doesn't look like I have a square jaw. Just on this bit here, and just bring this in ever so slightly. Like that. Now again, because the liquify tool sort of blurs some of the image, we can fix this by using the clone stamp tool. So if we go to here and just hit Alt again, hold Alt, choose an area, and if we just gently click on areas that we want to fill, it gives it a more natural look. And all the stamp tool does is literally copy and paste whichever part of the image you want to use. So say for instance we wanted this part, we can add this part anywhere we want. But because Photoshop is quite intelligent, it won't mess up the image too much, and it will sort of make it so that it fits perfectly wherever you click it. So you can sort of move anything using that tool. Right. So let's have a look at myself now. So I look a little bit better. I'm not really too happy about the chin, but obviously in this video we're not going for perfection here, we're just going to show you the tools. So now we want to look at the eyes and get rid of the lines around the eyes. So again, this is a good opportunity to use the patch tool. So if we zoom into the eyes, just hit on the patch tool there. We want to choose an area just underneath the eyes, so we'll choose sort of this area, and then gently just click around that area to get rid of any of the bags around the eyes. Like so. So again, we do the same for the other side, so we'll just choose a part of the image just underneath that eye. And work our way round. And it sort of makes you look a little bit younger. Now, the third and final part that I'd like to show you is how to enhance the eyes. So the best way to do it is to draw around the pupils and the coloured part of the eye using the lasso tool. If you want to be really neat, use the pen tool, but I'm really crap at using the pen tool, so I don't tend to use it. And if you want to get the other part of the eye done, hold shift and then click, and it'll allow you to do it again and add to the selection that you've already made. Okay, so now I've got both the eyes selected. If we go to new layer and then to the fill tool, what we want to do is just select a colour around the eye. So I've got green eyes, so we just knock that up to a kind of green and go for somewhere like that and fill it in. Now what you want to do is head to the layer style bit at the bottom and click this drop down, and you'll get a list of options, and it's just a case of finding one that suits it. So colour and hue tend to be the best ones, so I'm going to go for hue on this one, and we're going to drop the opacity down a little bit to about 50. Now what you can also do is duplicate this layer and then choose one of the soft light options and just lower that down a tad to about 8 we'll go for. Right, so now I look like I've got more colourful eyes. Again, if you want to brighten the eyes, what you can do is also go to layer, new adjustment layer, and then brightness and contrast. If you click on this, you get an option to enhance the brightness of the entire image. So if we just knock it up a little bit and knock the contrast up a little bit, and then hold Alt, GR and G, that will group it to the eye layer that we made earlier. So now if we went all the way up to the top, the eyes would look a little bit better. Just group it back down to there again. And put that as overlay. It's all about just finding the right area. We'll put that up to 76. Also, okay, 75. And the contrast to about 20. Okay, now another great option to use on photos is the adjustment layers that we just went into. So if you go to levels and curves, these are the very two useful tools for enhancing the brightness and the natural light of the image. So we're going to go to the levels tool, and you'll get 3 different cursors or pointers here. Now the best way to auto adjust it is just to drag the end 2 ones in a little bit. So if we click on this and hold it, as you can see, we get a nice brightness there, and if we drag this in a little bit, it looks a bit more natural. So again, we can achieve the same effect by going to curves, and using this line here, if you click and hold at any point on the line and make a sort of S shape with it. Now again, I'm not going to use this layer because it looks a bit crappy because I've already used the levels tool. Now another interesting feature that you can use as well is the exposure tool and the vibrance tool. Now these two are used for increasing like the colour of the image and and the brightness. So now the exposure tool I quite like because you can mess about with it quite a bit, and it increases and decreases the exposure. So say for instance we're going to put it there, we're going to drop this down a little bit and increase this a little bit and increase that a little bit. Do the same again for Vibrance. Now normally with the Vibrance option you tend to have the Vibrance at a plus and the saturation at a minus, so that you don't lose or get colour bleed in the image. So I tend to go -15 +15 for the most part, or -10 +15, and sometimes 20. Right, so there we have it. The image itself looks a little bit better. Obviously I'm not really going to be too fussed about the chin, as this is just a tutorial. I mean, you could spend ages making that perfect, but on the whole that's 3 or 4 different techniques you can use in an image just to enhance the look of it. Now I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. If you do like the videos that we've done so far, then please give us a like and a comment, and don't forget to hit the subscription button if you want to see more videos that I've done. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.